Are you tired of looking like this after a night on Prizepicks? For the price of that Big Mac combo you chowed down on this week, get access to hundreds of picks. Connect your Discord to WAP with the link in the description and be added straight to the premium Discord. We'll be sending every single Prizepicks slip we place.
Let's get some Prizepicks in today, guys. No profits last night. My closest slip was this one right here. Brandon Miller under 22.5 points. Did not cash. Almost got that 10x. As per the picks from the actual video, I believe it was this one right here. So Ingram under points missed, as well as LeBron assists and Austin Reeves points. So everyone was on this Austin Reeves points. He even got bumped all the way up to 16.5, but he could not pull through for us. He swapped this with AD. I believe that also missed. He was at 26.5, I want to say, and he only got 26 points. So overall, 3-3 day. LeBron and AR could not pull through for us. Could have been potentially 5-1 if they played better. So we'll get onto the board for today. But before that, I did say I would draw a winner for the VIP Plus membership. So I put all your names, everyone who commented last night's video, and we're going to spin the wheel and see who won. So this is live right here. And the winner for the giveaway is going to be Light Skin Rambo. So if you're watching this video right now, just comment. If not, I'm just going to reply to your comment from last night's video. Straight on the board, I have 6 NBA picks. We're going to be building a 6 flex as always. And we're going to start it off with Bam on the under points. We took his over points the other night. Did not go well for us, but we're going to grab Bam under 17.5 points and get into a little bit of an analysis quick. So obviously you could see he clears this like pretty easily throughout the season, but things have been changing recently with Terry Rozier in the lineup. See, there is juice towards his under on a couple sportsbooks here, which that has him kind of at that 50-50, but generally he has not been clearing this too well with Terry Rozier, and it is a tough matchup versus Orlando. 4th in points allowed, 4th in rebounds allowed, and 1st in assists allowed. And why does this matter? If we throw in Rozier and we see the games that he actually did clear this over 17.5, only 3 out of 8 times was not a good side to start off with. But look at the games he did clear it in. 24 points versus the Hornets, 20 points versus Washington, and then the only tough matchup he actually cleared was versus Boston. He couldn't even get it done versus Memphis, the Knicks, Phoenix, Sacramento, or the Clippers. So this is a tough matchup. He hasn't been clearing this with Rozier in the lineup. So that is the main reason I'm kind of going with this. He has been really slacking on the points department. And if we go check Orlando's defense versus centers, I mean, it's not that crazy. It's not like they're first or anything, but they are 9th in points allowed against the center position. That does help us. But on top of that, this game is supposed to be super low pace. Look at this, 212 total. That's really, really low. But it will be a bit of a tight one, right? So -3 spread, Miami at home. They probably will get a lot of minutes. But even if we go check Bam's minutes in these games with Rozier, I mean, he gets like 40 minutes here, 35 here, 35 here, and he's still not clearing this line. So I'm not too worried about minutes. And just in general, he's been getting less minutes now with Rozier in the lineup, averaging 34 with him and 34.8 without him. So there is a bit of a drop in Bam's minutes, and he's just not performing as he was at the beginning of the season. Like, we can even check with Rozier and then add in 34 plus minutes, all these games where he cleared that number, and it's 4 games, and he still only cleared it versus Charlotte here at 35.4 minutes. I'm not too worried on the minutes department. That is going to be the first pick. And we're going to take one of his teammates here on Tyler Hero. He missed last game with a migraine, but I think he plays tonight because, I mean, who has 2-day migraines? So he should be playing tonight, and I'm liking his 4 rebounds on the over. We could look at how he's been performing throughout the season. Played 30 games, cleared this in 20 out of 67. And we're talking about the 4.5 here. We're not getting him at 4.5. We're getting him at 4, where we get an extra 2 games where he would have pushed instead of lost for us. Now, you do see juice on the under 4.5 on every single sportsbook. We're getting at 4, like I said, so it doesn't really matter to us. And it's a good indicator that the 4 is too low when every other sportsbook has him at 4.5. So 71% of the time this season, averaging 5.4. And this is even with Rozier in the lineup. I mean, he's still doing pretty decent here. Has cleared this 4 out of 6 times if you're excluding the push line. Versus Washington, he got 4 rebounds exactly. Now, this is a tougher matchup versus Orlando, where he has actually played them before. The first game, he got 8 rebounds, so absolutely cleared this line easily. And then the second game, he got 1 rebound. I did check both these games, and it was with the full Orlando matchup. So if we check Carter in here, Banchero, Wagner, and Suggs, it was the exact same team lineup. He did have Fultz in the lineup on this 1 rebound game, but that's not really affecting Tyler Hero's rebounds. Let's lastly just check his minutes on 2023, how he's going to be doing. I think he's going to get at least 32 minutes. He's been averaging 33.9. With Rozier in the lineup, he's been averaging a bit less, like Bam here, so 32.6 average. But overall, I mean, he should easily clear 32 minutes here, where he has cleared this 70% of the time. So pretty much wherever you look at, obviously he's going to be clearing it a lot of the time of the season, because just in general, he clears it 71% of the time of the season. So no matter how many minutes you're looking at, it's always going to look good for us just because of how often he's hit it this season. So that is going to be the second pick, Tyler Hero over 4 rebounds. Now we're going to go over to Minnesota and grab 2 Minnesota players. The first one's going to be Naz Reid on the under 10.5 points. And the next one is going to be Towns on the over 22.5 points. Now, Naz Reid I like on his own on the under 10.5 points. Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm just throwing in there because of the correlation between Naz Reid and Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm going to get into this in a bit here. So Naz Reid under 10.5 points is looking good. Yes, he's cleared this 52% of the time this season. I'm not too concerned with these numbers here. This is what I'm looking at on the juice. Every single sportsbook has some juice towards the under, minus 125 all the way up to minus 131. So that's already a good indicator. That's a good pick on the under 10.5. And now we're going to combine it with Towns, who isn't really juiced, to be honest. He's pretty much at that break-even mark. So DraftKings has him at minus 120 towards the over. BetMGM has him minus 120 towards the under. Then PointsBet also has him juiced towards the over. But the reason I'm taking these two guys, like I said, is there is a correlation between them. But the reason I'm taking this combo, despite like looking too deeply into the stats, I mean, it is versus Chicago here. Very slow-paced game again. But -5 spread is not too bad. Like, there should be decent minutes in this game, especially for these starters. So I'm not really minding this matchup for Towns on his over points. But if you look on Fantasy Labs, you could actually see correlations between players here. So Karl-Anthony Towns and Naz Reid is negative 0.24, which means when one guy is doing good, the other guy is doing worse. And this makes sense on this team because Towns is a starter and Naz Reid is not. So if you check Naz Reid's minutes, he has 1,100 this season. And if we throw off Towns, you're going to see about half of those are without Towns in the lineup. So if we select players here, it's going to go from 1,100, as you see right here. Once it loads, you saw it was 1,100. And then without Karl-Anthony Towns, it's actually 573 minutes. So about half the time that Naz Reid is on the court, Towns is not, which means when Naz Reid is getting more minutes, Karl-Anthony Towns is getting less minutes. And we can even see this straight on the minutes logs here. Look at these games where he clears a lot of minutes on Towns. So versus the Hornets, he got 38. Versus Brooklyn, he got 37. And versus OKC, he got 39. If we look at Naz Reid on those exact same games, versus the Hornets, he only got 15 minutes. Versus Brooklyn, he only got 22.7. And then versus OKC, he only got 20.6. Now, if we look at this Dallas game here, where Naz Reid got a ton of minutes here, 26 minutes versus Dallas, we go see Towns, and he got less minutes at 31.2. So it's pretty obvious the association between these guys. So obviously, if one guy's getting more minutes, he's more likely to go over his points compared to the guy that's not getting a lot. So I'm expecting Naz Reid to get less minutes tonight, with Karl-Anthony Towns getting more minutes, meaning Towns clears his line while Naz Reid does not. Now, this last duel is going to be from the Suns game, and they are up against the Bucks tonight with a lot of injury news. I'm not sure if Lillard's going to play. I think Brook Lopez was also game time decision, and so is Giannis. Giannis was the most probable out of all of them. We're still going to go to Phoenix and grab Devin Booker on his assist. Now, a lot of people don't like taking his under assist, but I mean, recently with this new lineup, with Beal and everyone just healthy in the lineup, he honestly doesn't assist that much. We could even check his last 5 games. He's only cleared this 2 times, pushed at these 6 times. He's not getting 8-9 assists to games like he was without Beal in the lineup. So we're going to go with Devin Booker under 6 assists. And we're also going to go with Nurkic on the under 12.5 points. I think I took these exact same players in a video recently, but basically Booker at 6 assists. These are the stats with Beal, Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant, and Nurkic in the lineup. He's only really cleared this 47% of the time in the 15 games they played together. And there is juice towards the over 5.5. And like I said, it's good to see when we're grabbing him at 6. Every sportsbook has a 5.5. Yes, with juice towards the over, but at 6, it's still a fair line compared to if we had him at 5 assists. Obviously, we'd grab the over in that case. So these are his hit rates with this lineup. Look at his hit rates in general over the season, averaging 7.2. But, you know, with the change in the lineup, it completely changes the game. That's why we're looking at these charts and you see 67%. Think of why this line is actually this low and why things have changed throughout the season. Because sometimes there could be an injury for like half the season and you go look at hit rates and yeah, they look good. Even with Bam, right? We saw that all his 17.5 points props was clearing easily. But yeah, once you add Rosie and the whole change in the lineup, things are going to change. So that's why I don't always take these graphs at face value. You know, try to look into it a little bit more. The second pick to pair this with was Nurkic on the 12.5 points. Loving the juice on the under here. Every sportsbook with juice on the under. He also doesn't have that great hit rates throughout the season. He's only gone over 45% of the time this season. Now, he has been on a bit of a roll recently. You could see, I think he even hit, how many points is that? Like, that's like 20 points, 28 points, 14 points, 18 points in the recent games. These were pretty easy matchups though on Washington and Brooklyn. Atlanta's a bit harder, but it's a bit different here tonight versus the Bucks. As I said, we do have to check the hit rates with the full lineup. So we're going to have to go throw in Kevin Durant, Grayson Allen, Beal, and Booker for tonight and see how Nurkic's hit rates are. And they're right about that 44%. So he hasn't changed too much with this full lineup in play. So that is going to be the picks for today. I've already locked this entry in as